So this is going to be a little bit weird, but it does affect a lot of things. So Warner Brothers uh, was up for sale. Okay, and a lot of people were looking to buy. A lot of big companies looking to buy Warner Brothers. Okay, aside from questions about monopoly and all that, and concentrating entertainment or anything in one hands, Warner Brothers has a lot of pieces. HBO Max, ancient movies, the Looney Tunes, and but the one thing they had is CNN. That's a Warner Brother company. As you can see, CNN by itself and Warner Bros. By now have been trying to reset themselves so they can compete with Fox News. And what they're doing is to keep going more conservative, and it's not working. So everything was up for sale. Now, Netflix won. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers. Now, a lot of people, and I saw Grand Plantier's statement about, monopolies and all that. Dude, you don't see the big picture on this one. In addition to Comcast and other companies, one of the companies that wanted to buy Netflix was Skydance, the parent company of Paramount. As you can see, with Paramount being bought by Skydance, they have gone in and ruined all of the news reporting from CBS. Barry Weiss is the MAGA chud, and she has turned CBS News into MAGA light. She fired everyone of color in the CBS newsroom because obviously they weren't qualified because they were of color. That means they were DEI. It's a nightmare. Gutted. Probably the most premier news organization in American history. Gone. But they wanted Warner Brothers not only for HBO Max, but for CNN. Netflix is not that way. The people who own Netflix are a little more left leaning, and Netflix takes chances. Okay? A lot of the movies that have come from Netflix are movies that people wouldn't touch. One last year, Disney didn't want to touch because they had the love interests were gay, two men. I remember it's a great movie, and I got to find the name of it again. You probably know. Put it in the comments. And then the biggest film right now is K-pop Demon Hunters that Sony had and didn't like it. Sony looked at it and said, I don't know, it's not kiddie enough. And they sold it to Netflix, everything for $20 million. That person who did that deal needs to be fired right then and there. The same thing that would happen whoever the guy that gave George Lucas all the rights to everything to Star Wars back in the 70s at Fox Productions, 20th Century Fox. That man's long gone because he gave him everything, including marketing. Same type of decision, as you can see now. If you know, you know. So Netflix is more inclined to do things that aren't geared to the far right. Skydance and Paramount were not. There would have been a lot of stuff, a lot of censure, a lot of bullshit. So people might say, "Oh, great, they're buying centralized entertainment," but this is one of those cases where it was a good thing because then Netflix will continue to be who they are, taking chances, allowing more things to happen that other companies won't, basically not being beholden to Trump. So we're going to see what happens. But it's a big deal in the sense that maybe with Netflix taking over Warner Brothers and CNN, that they'll hire a true news person to go in there and change CNN back to where it was and not worry about ratings, but worry about telling the truth. And I could see that that's a problem for the far right because they have fucking flipped out on this one. They didn't want Netflix to own it because they know who's running Netflix. And they know that if CNN goes back to its ways of telling the truth, that could be a huge counter for what Fox News every day with their fake news and their fake entertainment. So that's my 2 cents. Just kind of put it in perspective. Um, in the in the short term, everyone's going to say, "Who cares?" In the long term, you will. So have a good day.